Hey gamers, it's Seema, and you are watching Tyrant's Legendary Guide for Halo 2. This week, you're going to break through the high-tech Sentinel wall while dealing with the Flood in the mission Sacred Icon.
This is unprecedented. Unacceptable.
The Hierarch is dead, Commander.
His murderer was within our grasp. If you had not withdrawn our phantoms...
Are you questioning my decision?
No, Holy One. I only wish to express my concern that the brutes...
Recommissioning the Guard was a radical step. But recent events have made it abundantly clear that the elites can no longer guarantee our safety.
I shall relay your decision to the Council.
Politics. How tiresome. Do you know, Arbiter, the elites have threatened to resign, to quit the High Council, because of this exchange of hats?
We have always been your protectors.
These are trying times for all of us.
Even as the humans' annihilation filled us with satisfaction, the loss of one of the sacred rings racked our hearts with grief.
Putting aside our sorrow, we renewed our faith in the prophecy that other rings would be found, and see how our faith has been rewarded.
Halo, its divine wind will rush through the stars, propelling all who are worthy along the path to salvation.
But how to start this process? For ages we searched for one who might unlock the secrets of the rings. An oracle. And with your help, we found it.
With appropriate humility, we plied the oracle with questions, and it, with clarity and grace, has shown us the key.
You will journey to the surface of the ring and retrieve this sacred icon. With it, we shall fulfill our promise.
Salvation for all.
And begin the great journey.
Once the shield is down, we will head straight to the library. I do not wish to keep the Hierarchs waiting. The human that killed the Prophet of Regret. Who was it? Who do you think? The demon is here? Why? Looking for a little payback? Of course.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Tyrant's Legendary Guide for Halo 2. Today we are doing the mission Sacred Icon, where you are once again back in the shoes of the Arbiter. So go ahead and trade out your plasma pistol for these dual-wielding plasma rifles. They're very good at just plowing the heck out of those hard light columns right there. And this is just a run and gun mission, a lot of fun. I did have a lot of fun with this mission. And you can speed run your way through most of this. You just need to avoid the Sentinels for this first half. Gonna drop down to this next level. Here you're gonna want to turn to your left. This is sort of a compound level where you'll be crossing a little light bridge right here. Apparently Tartarus can't take the heat, so we're going to do our job, his job for him. Go ahead and hang to your right. A sentinel's going to pop out right about here. I don't even bother with this guy. Just go ahead and shoot the next column. Shields are down, so I'm going to go ahead and wait for just a split second because we've got 3 beams cutting into the room from the sentinels. Our poor little grunt buddies, they just don't know what to do at this point. Shoot this next column, and you should be at the shield generator at this point. That is a Sentinel Enforcer. He's got some massive guns on him. Red needlers, rockets. But he's really bad at aiming them, so just go ahead and shoot these 4 columns with him right there in your presence. Then jump down here because his Sentinel buddies are going to join him. Wait for a couple of seconds. Sometimes Tartarus will tell you that the thing is popped up. So cloak yourself, deactivate the containment shield, jump back down here, and all the sentinels up top will die. Easy peasy, 1, 2, 3 And I did not just say that. So at this point we get a little bit of a break in the action. Tartarus will join us with his Phantom, but will be of little to no help here. Apparently he ran out of bananas because he is running like a mofo. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing for most of this mission, just run. One of the things I like about this mission is it's very action-oriented. And if you use your cloak at just the right times, you can speed run through about 75% of this without even firing off a single shot at any enemy. So a Sentinel Enforcer is going to start attacking his Phantom. Try to get a few shots off. The best way to deal with these guys is to shoot the legs off first, then 2 plasma grenades will bring down the hull. Now you're going to have to kill that Enforcer in order for that vent over there on the left to open up, and that's going to be your exit. Now Flood are also going to be attacking you here, so be aware, watch your radar. It's hard to tell if they're in front of you or below you. This also introduces the Sentinel Majors. Sentinel Majors are the ones that shoot blue beams that are slightly more powerful than the gold ones. They also have shielding, and they can be identified by their gold plating. So now that we've got both legs off here, check your corners, and then just go ahead and toss a couple of plasma grenades at that thing. Pick up your other plasma rifle again. Carbines are really good against the Sentinel Enforcers, by the way, as long as you're just shooting at the legs. So cloak yourself once this vent is open. Jump inside. There are no enemies to worry about in here. Go ahead and shoot the next column. And here we're going to start encountering masses of Flood. Now this first one's fairly easy to avoid. Again, just check your radar, cloak yourself at the right time, and they'll run right by you. Here things get a little bit more hectic. Again, you'll have another mass of Flood to worry about, but you're going to have some carriers to worry about at the end. So timing this cloak is very, very important. So we're going to cloak right about here. Try to avoid these guys. If you run into them, it's going to slow you down, cut down on your cloak time. We don't want that. Our cloak is almost up again. Use it. Again, this is a very crowded place in terms of Flood. We're going to try to avoid those carriers. 2 carriers can kill you. This part looks intimidating because, again, we have Flood fighting Enforcers, but really you just need to keep along the left-hand side over here. Watch your radar, see if there are any Flood combat forms chasing you. So far it looks like we're in the clear. Cloak yourself again. Go to this last section right here. And now things get really, really ugly in terms of Flood. This is one of the bottleneck points of the mission, in my opinion. Now, you could try to run and gun through this. I don't recommend it. So check your corners. The Flood are just sort of ambling along here until something alarms them. So we're going to avoid them as best we can. Hang along the right-hand side. Do not alarm them. Looks like one's getting a little bit too friendly here, so we're waiting for our cloak. And back to one of these little bridgeways. See, we ran just right by them. They didn't even look at us at all. Now this one's a little bit easier because we just have a couple of carriers here. But now the Sentinels are going to start engaging the Flood combat forms. Now the good news about this is they're less focused on you. But they will still try to hurt you. Now another Sentinel's going to pop his head out right about here. There he is. This time you want to hang to the left, because that's where your exit column is going to be. Keep yourself cloaked here as much as possible. That's the way you're going to get through. Now we're going to enter two very large chambers. The first one's not going to have any opposition. So all you really need to do here is just hit the other column and descend to the next one. Now the next one, your Phantom is going to be engaging a bunch of Flood combat forms. Things are getting a little bit spooky at this point. Not sure I like this a whole lot. This is where Flood actually start using energy shields, so be careful. When you think you have a clear shot, go ahead and go straight for the column. You're going to take a few shots here, but with a little bit of luck, you'll get past it with no problem at all. Now we'll finally get outside where you'll be doing your first major combat. And look, now it's snowing. Now it's not. Now it's snowing. Now it's not. I got some crazy weather on Halo apparently. Now here, hold up for just a couple of seconds. You've got your carbine, so it's okay to take a few pot shots. But don't go out guns blazing just yet, because your allies are going to show up just like they did in the E3 2003 trailer. The elites are just going to drop from the sky in their drop pods. And these guys are fairly formidable, especially when you compare them to the Marines. They have energy shields, they throw plasma grenades, their weapons are generally more useful right off the bat. I highly recommend just fighting out this part and trying to keep your allies alive. It makes things just a little bit simpler. That way you don't have masses of Flood just ganging up on you. This is the first of two outdoor segments. You're going to have one Flood over here with an energy sword. So just keep your eye out. He can one-hit you. And also try not to stay too close to your allied buddies, because they can also melee you to death by accident. So we're sort of just going to clear out this area right here. Once you advance far enough, another wave of Flood will start dropping from the sky. Oh, there's our sword guy. As you can see, we have Grunt Birthday Party activated. It doesn't really serve any major tactical purpose here, but it sort of lets you know right off the bat when you've gotten a headshot off of a Flood. Which, again, you can pull off a Flood headshot by shooting them in the chest cavity where the infection form is located. Now, there should be a few Flood over here. A couple more will drop from the sky. You can always tell when another wave of Flood is about to arrive, because that, you know, annoying, loud, frightening screech will just cut through the air. Now the main thing here is, your elites are very formidable when it comes to the enemy, but you do not want them to engage in melee combat, because most of the time they will lose. The Flood seem to have far more powerful melee attacks than your allies. So you want to protect them as much as you can. Also, obviously, if your allies' shields are down, they can easily be taken down by Flood infection forms. We don't want that either. Fortunately, Flood infection forms aren't quite as numerous here as they were in Oracle. So again, we're just going to sort of encourage our elites to fight these guys. The less combat you have to deal with here, the better. The Flood in this first section really aren't that tough to deal with, but they can take you off guard fairly easily. As you can see, that was an infection form resurrecting a combat form, which they do quite a bit. Of course, the way to prevent that from happening is to use your sword to start chopping up flood bodies. Now, whenever you feel like you're taking too many hits, don't be afraid to cloak yourself, but watch your cloak. Again, over there on the left-hand side, you can tell when your cloak is recharged when that little dial is full. And as you can see, our cloak is recharged again. So we're going to see if any flood combat forms are left. And we've still got a couple of allies left alive. Now through that cave is going to be your next and final outdoor zone. Once again, when you hear that screech, let your boys have at it. Try not to run in guns blazing. It's very easy to get overwhelmed by flood combat forms. I've been double tapped a few times in this mission. Or for that matter, any flood mission. So we've got more carbine ammo here. Definitely take advantage of it. And right through here, you're going to have more flood combat forms. Some of these guys will have rocket launchers. Occasionally, one will pop up with a sword. So you want to try to stay out of the open. Now, the good news is here, you've also got your ship commander. In Halo 3, also known as the Shipmaster, Half-Jaw. Just like Sergeant Johnson, he is completely invincible. The only issue that I've come in contact with here so far is when he hops into one of those heavy plasma guns, because he's not really doing anyone any favors. When he is out of those turrets, however, he uses an energy sword, which, by the way, is by far the best flood weapon here. So whenever you hear that screech, go ahead and jump back to the cave. I have never been attacked by flood here before, at least not from behind. So it's a great retreat zone. Easy to corner them, easy to keep yourself from getting surrounded. I'm going to see if I can knock out these heavy plasma guns to keep them from getting back in, but I am sucking with these. Now again, check your radar. Every time you hear the scream, more flood are going to drop down from the canyons up top. And if you check your radar, you can tell which direction they're coming from. You can use your carbine from a distance to help thin the herd just a little bit. Most of these guys do not have energy shields. But again, some of these do have rocket launchers. Now you're going to be fighting several annoying waves of flood here. This is probably the most tedious part of the mission, without a doubt. The flood can, as you can see, commandeer the turrets. It's still better than having your ship commander in them. And perfect opportunity to destroy the first one. Like I said, the best thing you can do here is destroy those turrets. The ship commander is addicted to them, and I don't know why. They're useless, dude. Let's see if I can do this again. Come on. Oh, Jesus. Sword time. Bring it. Now it looks like we have another wave of flood coming in, so we're going to duck back into the cave. Let the ship commander draw all the attention. Hey, buddy. What you doing? I'm going to let him waddle right on over there. Now, as you can see, the ship commander is sort of trapped right now. His shields are down. He still won't die, but he's not being of any use at all. He's not even firing the turret, so he's not doing anything offensively beneficial right now. So we're going to see if we can help him out just a little bit. See if we can get him out of that turret finally. So he'll finally be on foot. He'll have his energy sword, and he'll start hacking away through those combat forms, making life a little bit easier for you. The Flood combat form should be drawn to the central location where the shipmaster is. So just feel free to hang back as long as you've got plenty of ammunition and just sort of pick them off. Though I'm not going to lie, shipmaster's doing pretty good. There are bodies everywhere. Oh, we got a shotgun dude right there. See if I can stick him. Now, like I said, I like to be cautious right here just because there are Flood with rocket launchers. And remember, in Halo 2, rocket launchers do lock on. Now, while you're on foot, it shouldn't be too much of a problem, but it's still a one-shot kill. So we're going to see if we can thin these guys out a little bit. Looks like they're running over to the ship commander. See if this guy can take a few shots. There we go. Headshot confirmed. Again, that's why I love the Grunt birthday party skull. Easy to tell right off the bat. Aside from that, we are not using any other skulls in this mission. Envy obviously is completely useless here because we already have the cloaking ability as the Arbiter. Sputnik is not going to help you much, particularly since the vast majority of this mission is in tight quarters anyway. We are out of plasma grenades. That sucks. I wasn't even paying attention there. We're going to see if we can draw just a few of them over here. We've got plenty of distance. It does seem awfully quiet on the other side. So we're going to try to venture out just a little bit. There we go. Apparently the shipmaster is doing something, even though I can't see him, because the Flood are dying. So we're pretty much just playing a support role here. If it weren't for the rocket launchers and the swords, I would say just go all in. The shotgun is not that effective in Halo 2, or at least not compared to Halo 1. There he is. Gave him a little bit of a helping hand there. But it can still do some pretty devastating damage, especially if your shields are down. Well. Again, great reason to have the sword just in case a Flood takes you off guard. Let's see if we can break up the crowd just a little bit. Where are they? Ah, they're on the other side. If you can't tell through the little opening what you're looking at, whether it's the ship commander or the Flood, again, just check your reticle. If it's green, that means it's the ship commander. If it's red, that is an enemy. Of course, that stays pretty much consistent throughout the entire Halo franchise. Let's see if we can find any. I think we left some additional carbine ammo in the back, but we may have picked it all up. But we are starting to run a little bit low here. Fortunately, we should be just about done through the waves. Oh, geez. We'll just clean up these guys right here. Let's see, I do not see any additional carbine ammo here, but again, this should be the last wave of Flood, so it's not that big of a deal, but I think I'm going to try to find a plasma rifle anyway, just to help clean up any infection forms, since they tend to be a little bit rampant in this last wave. And it only takes a few infection forms in Halo 2 to bring your shields down, and of course, once your shields are down, they just start eating you alive, so that's Not a good thing. And again, this is the end of the mission, so you do not want to mess it up here. Okay, there's our plasma rifle that we originally dropped for our energy sword, so we'll go ahead and pick that up. It's still there. We'll just check up here real quick, see if there's anything lingering around. Any combat forms that may have died up here. Nothing. So at this point, we'll just use the plasma rifle and the sword to finish off any remaining flood. It looks like the ship commander is doing a pretty decent job over there. Way to go, Halfjaw. The opposition should be relatively easy at this point. I think it's just a few infection flood. And there's our ride. That is the Phantom. That means this is definitely your last wave. So once you've thinned out the infection forms, they will beam you up and that will end the mission. It's pretty straightforward from here on out. So thank you so much for watching Tyrant's Legendary Guide for Halo 2. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'm the Tyrant, signing off.